Hey, 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 hey. Welcome to the new episode. Why do people hate time tracking? I think that's a huge topic here. I have invited to our episodes. Okay, you can introduce yourself. It will be better. Uh,
Yeah, hi. Thanks for having me. My name is Ugis Briedis, and I am the Chief Marketing Officer at time tracking and employee management software company called DeskTime. We're a Latvian-based company and part of Draugiem Group, and our core business is time tracking. And hopefully, during this discussion that we're going to have with you, Gustavs, I will be able to convince not only you but also our listeners or watchers who are have joined us in this podcast episode that time tracking is not the bad thing that it is painted out to be.
yeah. So small introduction about me. I'm the Gustav Gotthard. I'm the founder of e-commerce agency and e-commerce community. We are working in e-commerce for more than 5 years, and I'm as an entrepreneur for more than 8 years. And for me, the time tracking always has been some kind of the where you like this feeling that somebody will track you, and this is some some there is those movies about that they all tracking us and they are seeing what we do on the fingers and something like that. And in the last like half year, we are taking a lot of new employees on the team, and we see that there is different employees where we can help with our knowledge about how to do the things better. And I met Ugis like I think 1 year ago in one of the conference, and we started conversation. And then I was remembering, okay, there was this Ugis and this time. Let's jump on one episode, and let's not only for me, but for all the audience. Let's describe what means time tracking, because um, I think the biggest problem for entrepreneurs or um, for I don't marketing team managers, it's how to uh, tell to the your team what is the time tracking. Because it's not only about controlling somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely, and I think that you have a really good point here in regards of how to implement and use time tracking, because essentially uh, I myself, I'm coming from a marketing background from advertising industry also, and we used to. You have to basically track time either way. Either it's automatically with a software solution like this time or others, or you do it manually by filling out an Excel sheet with the tasks that you have done. Because at the end of the day, if you are working in a model where you bill per hour of your work that you have done, you have to have proof of work. So essentially, either you trust your employees that they will fill out the Excel sheet and say, okay, I worked 30 minutes on task X and 1 hour on task Y, or you implement such a solution that automatically tracks what they are doing. And it's not about tracking and being disloyal to your employees. That's something that we try to educate our customers on a daily basis. Is you have to be on the same page with your employees that you are using such a solution, because once you say, okay, we are using such a solution to track your time, but that's not necessarily that we don't trust you. It's that we see where your time is spent, because when we see where your time is spent, we see how much time you spend on a task and see maybe you need some extra help, maybe we get some bottlenecks across the board and we need more hands on deck. So, and again, of course, it can be used also to see if someone is slacking and not doing their job correctly. So I would say it's less of tracking and more of, let's say, proof of work. So you see where the time is spent during the day.
Yeah, that's really good point about proof of the work, because when you are scaling, when you are growing, sometimes it's not about, yeah, as you tell, it's you don't need to track. You just can, I don't know, watch on this sheet and tell, hey, for this task you could not spend like 3 hours. You could spend 15 minutes asking me, and I would give you the, I don't know, other employee who would help you to deliver this like faster. And this is interesting way how to sell this to your people. But I think it's all starts with understanding that clear for yourself what does time tracking will do for your company. So maybe you can give some, I don't know, 3 4 5 things which is like sell for yourself first.
Yeah, well, that's again, it's a good question, and I have to jump into a little bit of a history lesson here. Again, as I mentioned previously, I'm coming from marketing background in advertising, and the thing is that why I left advertising, which is something that I really was passionate about and loved, is because I was basically burnt out. Because you don't actually you track time, you fill your Excel sheets, whatever, or your billable hours, but that's it. And you constantly are working, and you are working not 8 hours, not 9 hours, you're working 10, 12 hours. And because you have to finish the project, and there's always the next project, and there's always the pitch, and there's always something that you can do. And no one actually takes any look at the hours that you actually fill in, because if you overwork, your employees might just say, I mean, do it more efficiently, because we are not able to pay you or the clients are not able to pay you for your 12-hour workday or your 10-hour workday. So when it came to me, I was just basically burned out because I was just constantly working. Then I hit pause, and I got the opportunity to come work for DeskTime, and this is where we actually see the benefits of time tracking firsthand. Because of course we do practice what we preach. We do use DeskTime on a daily basis, which has helped us to actually have 35-hour work weeks during the winter time, or say most of the year, and during the summer we can manage 33-hour work weeks. So basically, how we work is that we have a mandatory 7 productive hours a day, and once you hit those, you can shut your computer and go home. That's it. There's nothing like there's okay. Of course, it's a difference between us as software that we provide a service to others, or versus that someone is working for projects for different companies. But still, at the end of the day, we can see data, and we analyze the data on a weekly basis, how many hours each of our employees has spent working, and we see if someone is we had actually a case where someone from the company was working on a regular, like 10 hour days, doing it for a month. We saw the trend, and we asked, okay, can't you handle all your tasks? If the answer is no, we try to hire someone who can help take the workload off a little bit. And the second is, we say, okay, you can be passionate about your job, but please watch after yourself and don't overwork yourself, because we understand if you overwork in the long run, people get burnt out, and if they get burnt out, they lose interest in their job, and they either quit or they fall ill or whatever. And then by having employee churn, you have to teach new employees. That's costs, that's time, and that's stress for the rest of the company. So basically,
Yeah.
you can manage your workforce, and have a good overview of how many hours are being spent. And it's not like tracking, like we don't do like, why didn't you do 7 hours? Why did you do 6 hours and 55 or 45 minutes, or 6 hours and 30 minutes? We don't care. We do care about the work that has to be done. What we do care is that people stick to the 7 productive hours, and that's it. And they go home and they don't do more.
Yeah, I think you are mentioning really, really good thing here, because I'm the like when I'm leading some teams, I don't like to watch on the fingers. I believe
Yep.
that the guys that they will deliver the best thing what they can, and you don't know how they are planning their work time, and you can help nothing there if you are not over control freak, which is sitting there and seeing what they're doing on the screen and calculating those things. And when you see those. Yeah, when we will implement, I think we will implement that in the few months. This time part, I'm hoping that it will go well. I understand that I can really help for the employees to understand where they are stuck and maybe what kind of the new hirings I need to take over, because right now today in the morning was the situation like we have one of the project managers and I am asking, okay, I see that this guy is working well, it's one of the employees for him is doing better and better and better work, and I'm telling, okay, what's the next hiring? And I could save this question with already seeing what he's spending more time, and I could like manage this hiring process maybe from this side. This is huge thing. And about what you really good that you shared this experience about burning out, because I'm working in the marketing too, and I know this feeling because we don't have this feeling when when you I don't know when you see the potatoes. Yeah, you in the end of the summer you take them off and
Yeah.
the job is done. But in the marketing, there's sometimes this job is done feeling it's never coming, and you can't prove to your project manager or somebody that you are doing the more work, and he's telling, yeah, just do better work. But in the end of
Yeah.
the day, maybe your company should take more money for this task done in the next project,
Yep.
and you can get more people on your team, and you can grow much better than right now without this tracking part. This is really good point.
But
That's
actually,
nice.
you have a good point too about asking for more money from clients, because that's also something that was frequently an issue whilst I was working in advertising, is that you go to the client, you say, okay, we spent, like, we agreed upon, let's say, 10 hours for a creative something, but we ended up spending 15 or 16, and the client says, I'm not paying for that extra 5 hours because, well, we agreed on 10. But that's the point. If you have such a solution, you can say, okay, it's not like we were sitting with our hands in our laps and just looking at the ceiling and doing nothing. We can give you a detailed report on the hours, minutes, and basically even software is used during your project. So you see actually that we have spent the amount of time that we want to charge you for, and that's something that also is a possible way to hold the clients accountable for, because we all have been there with clients who say, we are not going to change anything, and once you deliver the final thing, it's like, okay, can we change this thing, can we change that thing, can we change this, oh, I think this was, and then it's just an endless loop of changes, but no one's paying for that, because you agreed upon 1 hour hourly rate, or amount of time that you were spent, uh, and end up spending either a third more or a half more or twice as much. It just it's also helpful to educate your clients, because then they will see that you actually do track what you do with your time, and it's necessary, because again, if you have only 8 or 7 hours of, it depends on how many hours you work a day, but you cannot spend them on one client only, especially if you are in marketing. You have multiple clients, you have multiple projects, you have to attend to all of them, and
Yeah.
that's where time tracking comes in handy, because you can actually see how many hours a week, a month, you attribute to certain projects, and then you see, okay, if some projects require more time, it's a fair case to be brought to your client and say, okay, we actually spend more time on you. I think we might need more financing from you, because we just cannot manage in the time that we agreed upon.
Yeah, but I'm like more watching about this client part. It's like all the big agencies right now trying to go to the hourly rate, because that's the easiest way
Yeah.
how to make money. You just charge per hours, pay less, and there is this is different. I'm in the situation where I'm selling the products, So I'm not selling the hours, I'm selling the products, done projects. Yeah. And that's for me as entrepreneur. For me, the question always is the cost of delivering this product. And sometimes it's the situation where you have spent more time, but you are educating yourself about, okay, next time we need to understand and we need to raise the prices for this kind of the project or this kind of the things. And you can always tell to the client, yes, we was planning to do the 10 hours, there's the 30 hours, but that's our problem. We didn't count on that. And you can show that you are doing the proper work. And that's something really, really amazing to implement too. So yeah, you are starting to close me. I heard that there's this saying about that you can boost your company's productivity by 30%. So from where this number is coming, maybe you can explain.
Yeah, again, this is a little bit of a history lesson about DeskTime. So DeskTime actually started as a project within Draugiem.lv when Draugiem.lv, the social network, was growing really, really rapidly fast. And
Maybe,
of course,
sorry, maybe we can small those who don't know Latvia, and I hope there will be many
okay,
of them.
yeah,
Draugiem group is it's like the Facebook, but in Latvian Facebook variation, and it was growing in this I don't know which year, but it was the start of the social media, and it was growing really rapidly in Latvia, and they built a huge company from this company. They have grown right now the group, and there is many companies inside this group, which is like I think one of the biggest groups in Latvia. I think right now. I don't know the numbers maybe, but that's why we are mentioning this Draugiem. It's like the Facebook, but the local one in Latvia. So yeah, just to be clear.
Thanks, Gustos. Yes. So yeah, Draugiem Group was initially came from Draugiem.lv, the social network, which started in 2009, something like that. Well, basically the same time as Facebook started. It just was an alternative to Facebook at one point, and so the social network company grew, and we within Draugiem Group, it's always been essential that you don't have like a strict work schedule. That there's the schedule is pretty fluid. You can come either at 8 a.m. or you can come at 11 a.m. But at one point when the company grew, also the amount of employees grew, and you needed to see when someone is coming, how much time they're spending at work. So you basically see that everyone's on equal. So DeskTime was born out of this necessity because there was no tools at that moment that provided such information. So it was created as a test project, and proved itself worthy. And even after launching it internally, it was launched within, I think, 6 or 8 months later. It was launched as a separate product, and after a year it already became self-sustaining in terms of income. Where do the 30% productivity numbers come from? It's an experiment that was held during the initial phase of creation of DeskTime, where it was like an A/B test. There was 50% of the workforce that had DeskTime installed on their computers, and 50 that didn't. And basically, at the end of the period, it was clear that those who had it installed were on average about 30% more productive than those who didn't. It's yes, in one part it is because people knew that something is tracking what they're doing, and they cannot like sit and read news articles and watch cat videos, because cat videos were huge at that time. But also we have a gamification thing within the software, which actually shows you your place in the group, or how productive you are within your company. So you actually see your like desk colleague next to you, desk next to you is a bit more productive. So there's this kind of competition a little bit. It's not like shaming someone like you're unproductive, but it sort of gives you like a fair.
It's like a gamification, I think. Yeah, something because I'm a really competitive person, and I know that it would work for me like really good.
Yeah, so that's where basically the 30% productivity comes from, because people who knew and that software is on their computer and were actually using it, and they saw that, okay, I have to do XYZ tasks and I can do them, and this, it takes me this much time, instead of people who don't have the software on their computer. They just, okay, go, like, let's do something like this, and they switch tasks pretty frequently and maybe don't concentrate that much. It's basically like the same thing as if you implement time boxing in your daily routine, because then you allocate specific time slots for specific tasks and you concentrate on those specific tasks. You don't multitask, you don't like do 5 tasks in parallel. So it's basically helping you concentrate.
Yeah, I have two things to add. I think the one more thing how you can maybe get out of time management is get more kids, because from every next kid, the time you can spend on the work becomes less, and you need to still do the same work. So that's a small hack from my side. But second thing about there is a there is always this employees which productivity is from spending time in doing some exact things, and then is I'm seeing my job week or job day, and it's like it's a lot about emails, it's a lot about the chats, it's a lot about communication, because the faster I answer, the faster I give the information they ask, they can continue to work what they have done, and they can deliver the faster results. And that for me always has been interesting, because for technical stuff where you need to spend like those 7 hours in doing the thing what you get paid for, but for those who are spending your time in many platforms, and I don't know what will happen after 1 hour. Maybe somebody will call me and I will change all my schedule for the next day, and I will do the separate thing. And that's the question: what to do with? I don't know. I think that's the project managers on or some team leaders or something. What how they can implement this time tracking proper?
Well, it depends on what the end goal is for and what they want to see out of it, because there is a functionality in our software that you can say assign projects, and you can switch between projects, and you can actually switch between like project. You can name a project, I don't know, call, or then you can name a project chat, or you can chat for project X, then chat for project Y. You can switch between those
Okay.
and see how much time you spend on it. And also we have multiple integrations, one of which is Google Calendar. If you have like a calendar event set up, it automatically pulls in information from the Google Calendar and makes it as a productive time slot. um, at the end of the day, is yes, what you want to get out of it. I would say project managers or team leads, they can end of the week or starting next week, starting every new week, they can see like retrospectively on their previous week how many hours they spent on each project, and then see if the correlate it between if the hours spent on the project actually meant the project moving forward a little bit, or is it still stuck? And then you
Yeah.
can see, for instance, you spend 40 hours on a project and it doesn't move an inch. There's a problem somewhere, and then you can start unraveling where the problem is. And vice versa. If you spend like 20 or 30 hours on a project and the project is like near to completion, okay, then everything is going according to plan, and you just validate that this kind of approach works for this project. So basically it's to analyze how you work, and less again, less for analyzing the hours that you actually spend at your computer, but towards the game, because it's not about and we get this from our sometimes from our potential customers or people that are somewhat dismissing time tracking, is that, okay, I'll just click my mouse or hit my keyboard and it will register that I work, and that's it, and my employer will see that I work. But then it's the question, if you have to do this at your job, are you really at the right place? because because we are all working towards an end goal, and if your job is just to go in, punch out, I would say you're in the wrong line of work. But again, we are only just a solution. How we get implemented into companies, we can sort of guide our potential clients and clients how to implement this, but at the end of the day, it's up to them how they convey the information to their workers, and so that they actually understand that this is beneficial for them, and not used as like say stick method. For instance, I see that you are not working, or that you're spending too much time on task X. Why aren't you concentrating on task Y? So that's up to them.
That's a really good point what you mentioned about those goals, because I believe that bad leaders still will use this tool not proper. A good leaders will use it proper. So still work on your leadership skills. That's most important there. But overall, what is the goals what can be set by, or what is the like goals you see what you are setting up? I saw this point. This is really good point about if I'm the project manager and in the end of the day I make money from what my project has been delivered, and I see in retrospective in the start of the week that I have spent, I don't know, half of the work week on project which maybe or not getting money to the to company, or not making some things what I need to do, then I need to I can, from retrospective side, I can just analyze what can be done better and change this into the future. This is really cool thing. I even done, but is there any other goals could be set it up most popular from your side?
I would say what you mentioned is one of the key goals, and it works across the board, not only for project management. For instance, we can also implement it on the development, like for coders. For they evaluate a project and say, okay, this will take us, I don't know, 30 hours to complete. And then when you do a retrospective of the project afterwards, and you realize that you have spent 50 hours, then you can take the lesson from that, and next time some similar projects come along, you say not 30 hours but maybe 45, and then you can, because you can set I would say the main goal is through this you can set realistic time frames for projects, because then at the end of the day, when the project is done, you can say, okay, I've spent this amount of hours, and it's normal, or we undervaluated or overvaluated, and learn from that.
Yeah, that's interesting. You told that. So I would say the big mission is, or big goal, or big problem is their productivity. The real solution is going through those retrospective processes, seeing what has been done wrong and changing that in the future, learning from mistakes. This is what I think that's the biggest solution what DeskTime is giving from my side right now, that you can make those retrospective more effective. You can, for you as a leader, it can help to see where your team is spending time, what could be upgraded. Maybe you can add some new employees there. I don't know if you see that. I don't know. I have editor which is doing some copyright work, and there is maybe 5 more employees which is doing the copyright work. You understand? Okay, I can take one person who is taking all of those hours, and people can work on their real task why they are here. About the future of the time tracking, where you see where it's going, what patterns you have seen. Maybe you can give some ideas from there's one good joke. I'm a tall guy, like 2.6, and the best joke to tell to the tall guys is like, you are so high that you can see the future. So right now I'm asking for you to give me the future, so I can, next time when somebody will joke, I know this future about time tracking.
Yeah. There's a couple things to be mentioned here. First off, we saw a huge explosion in necessity for time tracking during the COVID crisis, which is 2 years ago. We saw an enormous rise in popularity, both for us and our competition. But as for future, I would say time tracking will be beneficial for companies that decide to stay hybrid or go fully remote, because that's the best way to actually keep track on projects happening, and what your workforce and how your workforce is feeling and what it's doing. It might be because again, from my experience, we've seen a lot of clients that dropped off after coming back to the office because they think that okay, I see my employee, I don't need time tracking. But that's the key thing that we always try to mention, that it's not about that you see that your employee is physically at the computer. That is wrong. Okay, we can discuss here different work cultures and different employment styles and etc. But I would say, as we talked during this discussion, that the productivity part is the most beneficial and essential one. And I would say for the future, yeah, if a company wants to run a healthy workforce remotely or in a hybrid regime, time tracking is beneficial. I would say even crucial for that, because we are also working on different new additions to the product. One of which is a feature that we are testing right now, which is also connected with the booking feature, in a sense of, because a lot of companies during COVID realized that they don't need large office spaces and scaled back larger offices in favor of less desks than their actual employees. So a trend in hot desking is coming back. So that's something that we try to wedge our way into slowly. And there are companies that are using it at the moment, where you can actually couple your work schedules with office attendance, and thus actually manage less desks than you have employees. But yeah, I would say it is beneficial for seeing workloads, especially if you don't see your employees, if you are running like remote teams, when your, I don't know, designer works from Germany, your copywriter works from France, and like digital nomads. That's something that take great effect with time tracking. So you actually can run a healthy workforce wherever you are from, or wherever your workforce is from, and they don't get burnt out. You don't get a high employee churn, and basically you get a healthy work-life balance thanks to a solution like this.
Yeah, that's nice, because I'm running the remote team, and I know those challenges. Because I don't know, I can give a small advice. Yeah, there is one place where I have one guy from India working. Yeah, and it's media buying, and we are paying him a good salary. But I know that in my region, for that money, I could get less skillful person, like, and that's something for remote work. But like, I have the remote team, and that's, I see that to get the best team on your board, or make the best team, you will need to make this hybrid work. Because I saw that one of the last this information, that I think something like 30 to 40% of the people will choose between company who is giving option to work in a hybrid, and who is not giving. So if you want to build a great company, this hybrid style of the work is something you will need at least few days a week, work from any place they want. And right now, like in Latvia, we have the changes in winter will be very expensive everything. And my team is already moving to the Indonesia, where you can for the same what you will spend here for two room apartment, you can spend for villa in I don't know, in Thailand. So that's something what people will need. And if you will not be implemented, if this kind of the systems will not be implemented in your workforce, it will be really really hard for you to grow your company fast. And that's what I have seen right now, and that's maybe why I'm here talking with you, this, because I see that's a big problem for me.
Yeah, and also time tracking is good for if you work in different time zones, especially like other part of the globe where it's like the 7 or 8 hour time difference. You don't your time zones don't overlap, so you actually have to see if the person is doing their tasks. So
yeah, I agree. There was one more thing about last thing what you told, that if you are still the guy who want to see that somebody's sitting in a chair and working, and a laptop is open, and you can maybe want to check what they are doing, then maybe you are not the leader who is ready for time tracking, because still you will not deliver the right message with setting up those things.
There's I've wrote down a good quote. I can read it out loud. It's by a Greek Stoic philosopher called Epictetus, and it goes something like this: I can't call a person a hard worker just because I hear they read and write, even if working at it all night. Until I know what a person is working for, I can't deem them industrious. I can if end they work for is their own ruling principle, having it be and remain a constant harmony with nature. So basically, with what this says is simulating work is not work. You have to have a goal in mind. And again, as I mentioned before, we do have clients that are using our solution just to see if their employees are at the computer. But again, that's a different culture, different work culture, where maybe their employees are also trying to weasel their way out of some responsibilities. Again, that might bring us to the conversation: are you in the right position, or are you in the right field of work? But again, it's not our place to judge. We are a tool. We provide tool sets. Yes, we can be used that way, but we encourage for our users to use our software for the full experience that we deliver, is to analyze data and make informed decisions based on data. Not only just to say, I know Gustavs is working 8 hours because I see he has his computer open, he has his documents open, so he must be working. I can keep my computer open and just browse Instagram on my phone. So you can't check that.
Yeah, that's good quote. That you need to really work on the tasks. Not about those goals. I think that's a huge thing. So define the goals. We in the company work with the OKRs, which is objective key results, what I really love, and we try to find the goals for each of the person, so they love what they do, and they are not they're really working on the task and trying their best to finish it. About this goal part, that's I think is the huge thing, that not search where your team is spending time, but how they are spending. As a leader, really want to understand how they can become better in what they do, how they can make more money on themselves, how they can be happier in the end of the day. Because this burnout, I have seen with just a lot of marketing guys in the burnout, and they really don't want to see marketing anymore. And then I'm so sad, because people who have spent like 20, 30 years in the marketing, they could give so much value into the teams, which is young and passionate, and they want to deliver the fast, and they want to dominate. And I see that this expert could come and just give some knowledge there. And for me, I have seen several guys, and I'm always sad that you have spent so much time in this place, and you don't love it because you have overworked, and you maybe have not paid or made this team so good to be better in that place. So that's good thing.
That's the reality of life. We do, again, coming back to the beginning, as I mentioned, when working in advertising, we did have to actually log hours, but it was a manual process, and you hated it. You don't want to do it because you have stuff to do on your mind. And then at the end of the day, I actually worked in an advertising company that didn't pay out your salary unless you hand in your timesheet, and then you actually did your hours like a day before the salary, and then of course you've forgotten like 85 to 95% of what you've done. Then you try to piece everything together, looking through your calendar. It's not effective, because first there's margin of error, because you forgot something, you just added more hours to some project that you think you did spend time on, and at the end of the day, there's no actual proof that you actually did it. because it's just a number in an Excel sheet. That's it. That doesn't prove anything. You can do nothing for a week and just fill in your Excel sheet 8-hour margins and again and how do you go through that data? It's impossible to go through that data. It's just like a bunch of gibberish and numbers and projects that are not even called the same. Like everyone calls the project a different name. Like, okay, it can be client, but it can be client / creative, client / design, client / whatever. But someone might go into that detail. Someone would just say client, that's it, and just have like 5 entries with a random amount of hours for it. So, okay, I'm sort of leaning a little bit heavy on the advertising and marketing part, but it's also, I think it's the same thing for software developers and financing and everything. Okay, you don't spend as much time on different tasks, but still you do spend time on specific tasks, and at the end of the day, the result is the same. Did you achieve your goal? If you achieved your goal, how many hours did it take you? Can you do it faster? Can you do it more efficient? That's the main thing that we try to facilitate with DeskTime.
Yeah, that's really interesting for you when you are in the right place, as you told, and that's really important to find your place. So this can help you be there, and yeah, maybe DeskTime will not change your life, but it can bring you closer to your idea, to your dream. We will test it. Maybe you can where we can go and learn something more about before we are starting to implement that, because I think that's a big decision for companies. Because for me, I'm still working on this decision. Maybe you have some place where we can learn something more about DeskTime, about time tracking.
Of course, it's our homepage, desktime.com. But I would suggest if you're in a consideration phases, you can either check out our testimonial page, but the most efficient thing that you can do is actually sign up for an online demo or an intro call with our sales team. They will guide you through a quick 30-minute demo. You can ask your questions on what do you want to implement, what do you want to achieve, and they will be there to help you. And I think that's the most efficient and fastest way you can actually fast track your onboarding or your, if you really want to do it, because you can also go read our blogs where we talk about time management and workforce management and how to keep your workforce happy. But that's a lot of reading material. If you have time, you can do that. But if you want to, like, an efficient way on how does the product work, I would say an introduction call. Set up a call with our sales team, and they will gladly assist you and help you, because that's something that we pride on ourselves, is that we especially if you're a Latvian company, we are here. We're located in Riga. Like we are always a phone call away. We can schedule a call, and that also goes for the global companies, because we do have a really quick response team as far as sales and customer success goes. And we have, I would say, once you become our customer, and if you have some sort of run into some sort of trouble, we have like one of the best support teams that a company can wish for, which is constantly improving and then doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, that's nice. That's, I think, biggest challenge for everyone, everywhere, and always is get your support team proper, because this is where you will earn this respect from your clients, and that's amazing place. Okay, I will book the demo. We will add in description the demo link too. So do it, try it. Okay, and let's answer to the first question: why people hate time tracking? Do you have answer?
Yeah, because people don't know what time tracking is, or they got introduced to it wrongly. Because I would say it's the connotation of the word tracking. Because tracking for us is like someone's following me, someone's spying on me. Yes and no, but if you're so considered with tracking, then I would suggest you smash up your smartphone, throw it out, start using a dumb phone, because my friends, are being tracked everywhere, starting from your bank, from your grocery store to your petrol station. to wherever. And if you think that the camel's back will be broken when you install your work hours tracking software, then I think that's somewhat of a misjudgment, because you are being served information based on, like, advertising information is based on what you do online, and that's being tracked. So you're being tracked, and that's like, okay, in some pages with your consent, or some pages without your consent. Depends on which part of the world you are from. But I would say the most big problem with people hating time tracking is because they don't know what it is. They got introduced to it wrongly, and they don't actually see the benefit of it. And I think as soon as they see the benefit and what it can bring to their daily day-to-day work, I'd say there's more love in time tracking than hate. Because I mean, I'm working at a time tracking company, and I mean, I don't feel tracked. I don't feel spied on. I am happy. I am not feeling any signs of burnout coming on. I have a healthy work-life balance, and I mean,
you look like a happy guy.
yeah, because I am happy, because I'm happy where I'm working in. I'm happy with the team. I'm happy with the product that we produce, because we are. I essentially believe that we are making the digital workforce more happy and better, because you actually see what you are working for. Okay, the result is the main goal, but you see how you get there, and you can analyze it, and because everything is data driven these days, you can see the data of your work day. I mean, we buy gadgets to see our health data. That's also tracking. So how does it differ? Like, it's still, at the end of the day, it's to get results, to make you a worker, or a healthier person, or a better human being. So I would say it sort of elevates this in like a higher position. But I would say at the end of the day, it makes you a better employee, or a better leader, or a better owner. So you actually can see where your workforce is going to.
Yeah, that's something I see. I'm passionate about the time tracking, and I understand this word tracking, and I'm in the same situation that the faster you will start to use all the tracking tools to make your life better, the easier it will become for you, because you will be tracked. Like, there is no point to run away from that. You will be tracked, but you can either use this tracking, or you can fight with that. And if you can't win something, it's better to start use it. There's many things with like, there's those chatbots and things like that, and they are telling, this chatbot is not a human. He's not talking with me. He's not properly answering to my questions, and things like that. And I'm telling, but you understand, as a human being, it's not a human being. So use it well. Ask the right questions. You get through those, so you are smarter than that chatbot or somebody else. So about the tracking, just use it. All those tracking tools, from my side, it's helping you to make decisions. It's helping you to buy new interesting things. It's helping you to make your life better. So if you are not seeing this tracking thing as it, okay, sorry, the tracking stuff is not for you. But I hope that you will have some leader who will lead you right in this situation, and you will not feel trapped or tracked or unmotivated, and you'll be so happy as Ugis is. And yeah, that's my final word for this, I think.
Yeah, well, I think you're completely right, because we are moving away from, well, essentially, one more last thing. Essentially, where tracking came from, because everyone had I think it was in the even in the industrial era, you had these time cards where you just like punch in the saying punching the clock comes from that
Yeah.
you actually punched your time card when you come in, and you punch it when you go out. That's also tracking, because it tells you that you came in and went out, and a period of time was in between. What you did in between, no one knows. Now you actually you don't have to punch in, punch out. You can work from wherever you want, but you actually can backtrack what you actually did. So I don't see the problem in this. Of course, again, it's a separate case and a separate discussion being made on how it's being implemented by leaders. But then again, we are a solution. How we provide the tools, how our tools are used, that's not really up to us. It's up to the people who pay the subscription fee.
Yeah, you can just give suggestions, and I think today you gave so much good suggestions. You shared your stories, and like this was amazing episode. Really, thank you for being here. That's all from my side. If you have something else to say, scream it out. If not, then let's end this episode. And really pleasure to have you on the stage today.
Okay, thank you. Well, my final words will be thank you, Gustas, for inviting me. It was really fun to share my side of the story regarding time tracking, and I hope that I convinced at least someone to reconsider time tracking and employee management. But as for this, I would say yes, thank you, and it was nice talking to you. And have a productive rest of the week.
Yeah. At least one demo you made. I will make the demo, so that's at least something done. So you can showing your time tracking that at least one lead came in. Okay,
Great.
thank
well,
you.
I mean, yeah. Okay, thank you. Bye. Take care.
Bye.